Sorry. Make adjustments here. Make sure everything's good to go. All right. So I don't know if anybody will join or not, but either way, going to give this a shot and talk about mental health and my own mental health stuff that I have struggled with. And as most everybody knows now, here in Nashville, Tennessee, a few weeks ago, we had a horrible tragedy at an elementary school. Young children were killed, adults were killed, completely innocent lives lost. And it hurts like many of you every single time. Doesn't matter where it happens around the world. It's awful, it's terrible, and it needs to be addressed further and further. Mental health, in my opinion. I'm not going to get into gun issues, gun control. That's not what this channel is for. Um, so if you can leave comments to uh, mental health stuff, and if you're struggling, and I definitely want to help lead you in the right direction. So first off, let's go to something that I want to give you first. All right, the Suicide and Crisis Health Line, Lifeline, excuse me. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is the number is 988 in languages in English and Spanish, 24 hours a day. Um, that is something that I take very seriously. I have struggled with suicidal thoughts before, multiple times, ever since I was 12 years old. My parents got divorced when I was 11, and then later on within that year, I turned 12 and just really had a hard time with that and struggled with mental health probably ever since. And then also, I'll go into some medications I take near the end of the video. Um, but that's my first thing to tell you. If you have a problem, call 988. Talk to somebody. Leave a comment below if you need help. If you or DM me at on my Instagram. TJ underscore Milam underscore fitness is my Instagram. You can follow me there. DM me for questions. I just want to try to lead people in the right direction. I can't promise you that I can help you, but certainly if all of us can take some action and help somebody, reach out to somebody that might need help, that is one life saved. That is one life helped. That is one life we're helping move forward in the right direction. That's all I really want to try to do. Um, so let me go into my mental health and where I started really going downhill. In 2018, I was becoming more unhappily married. I got married to my second marriage began in 2015, and around 2018, it started getting tougher. But what I didn't realize was that my depression, I was becoming very depressed. And the first thing I noticed was that I did not really want to go to work. And that is very unlike me. I love my job. I love my work. I love to help people train and show them how to do things properly in the gym and help them live a better life if I can help it. And me not wanting to go into work and earn my living is just not like me at all. So I had done therapy off and on for many, many years since I was 12, like I was kind of talking about, and called the doctor and I told him my symptoms, and I didn't have any drive or motivation. This is at this time in 2018. So he prescribed me, I'll go ahead and get into this. Uh, it is bupropion. Okay. It's a 150 milligram tablet. I get 90 of them every 3 months. I take one a day, along with another one I'll get into a little later. But even before that, vitamin D Hopefully, this is 2,000 units. Take that every day too. I started taking that before, and I became vitamin D deficient right around 39. So around 2017, I'd say 18, right around then, and then got on the bupropion or Wellbutrin, as a lot of people call it, um, for drive and motivation. But I had a vitamin D deficiency and got on a strong, I forget now how many units it was. Might have been like 50,000 units once a week, and then got on 2,000 units a day, and that's helped me stay normal ever since with my vitamin D. So if that is the case, try that. Um, but go get diagnosed. And if you're having any thoughts like I'm talking about, whether it's lack of drive, motivation, certainly suicide, certainly just you're not able to look at anything and be happy remotely, go see your doctor. Tell them what's going on. So I started taking the bupropion in 2018, and that started helping pretty quickly. Another thing I was not having any drive motivation towards was my own exercise, my own workouts. And I think this also came along during the winter time and the colder months here, where we're not allowed to go, not allowed, but um, you're not going outside as much. It's cold, and the light outside is barely there. It's cloudy a lot, so that seasonal depression, that's a real thing. And started learning more about that. So I started learning a little bit more about myself with this. But the bupropion helped get me back into the gym, get me back going to work. Kind of got rid of the anti-drive and motivation. Certainly that helped. But then a year later, well, let's say like during that year into 2019, into the fall and winter of 2019, I began to go through the same thing, only this time it became even worse. I couldn't look at anything and be happy. Even sunshine didn't make me happy. Exercise, work, I was staying on the bupropion. My vitamin D was fine. I mean, my overall vitals were good. Um, but then it was after it was the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, 2019. That Sunday, I had went to a workout with my ex at the time. We were married, and I was just done. I had made up my mind and decided I don't. No, I did not. Did I have suicidal thoughts? Yeah, I did. But all I wanted to do really was run away. And I've done that before. I've physically done that before as a kid, run away from something I'm scared of or something I just don't want to deal with. And here it comes again as a grown man in my 40s. I was 41, and um, man, it just didn't make any sense why I was feeling that way. But after the workout, I got home. She had left to go do something, and I I only brought like my jacket. I just got my car keys. I drove down. No, I drove down to. No, I'm sorry, I forgot. I called a Lyft. Not Uber, but a Lyft to come pick me up and take me to the airport. And I rented a car, and I decided to just go, to just leave. And it didn't matter where I went. I was like, I might go to, I thought about driving all the way to California just to say, fuck it. I just want to get out of here. And I don't even know what I want to do. I was so lost and so scared. I just wanted to get away. And so I got in the car. I said, okay, I'll drive toward Memphis. And because I thought about driving, maybe I'll go to Atlanta, maybe I'll go to Knoxville, maybe I'll go to Carolina, maybe I'll go to Kentucky or something. I didn't care. I'll go east, south, northwest. Um, so I decided to go to Memphis. So I rented a car, Why did I rent a car? Well, I have no clue. Now, I just wanted to make it seem like I didn't care about anything. That's why I didn't take my own car. And I didn't want to be tracked, even though I could be tracked by my phone eventually. But so I got in the rental car, and remember they asked me how many days do you need it? I said, I don't know, maybe a week, whatever. So I drove to Memphis and just listened to the radio and all the way down there, but just I'm driving into my own darkness. Let's put it that way. Um, and I got to Memphis nighttime around dinner time. I ate dinner at one of my favorite restaurants they have there is J. Alexander's. It's a big hit here in Nashville. The headquarters is here. It's founded here. Great place. So I wanted to eat what I wanted and drink what I wanted. I drank beer all night. I got a room at a hotel. I mean, I drank a few beers there. Then I went to a hotel. Where did I go? I don't, can't even remember. Oh, the Westin, I think. Yeah. Stayed there in Memphis and got my room and then went back downstairs to the lobby and just kind of, I drank some more beers. And I remember talking to a lady that worked for Nike. She was a sales rep and she traveled all around the country, maybe all around the world. I think her husband did it too, but her husband wasn't with her, but we just got to talking about her gig. And one thing that did feel really good was being out and talking to people. I was living in my marriage a very closed in life. I mean I was like not allowed to do so many things. And one of my very best friends, I had written him off years before. That has been repaired, thank God. And never want that to happen again. It's a long story. I could do a whole nother video about that. But I was living a life where it was work and home, and that was it. And wasn't really seeing friends. I was seeing family here and there, but I was just, it was very closed off, and I hated that because I'm a much more social person. I love my family, I love my friends, and they only come, those are hard to come by. And as we get older, you can almost start to count your friends on one or two hands, right? But it felt good to talk to her and just, I don't know, just shoot the shit, shoot the bull and just be real and just kind of hang and meet a brand new person. Made me feel good. Maybe in a way that was an angel just talking to me and making me feel like, hey, somebody's here for you, Um, so I proceeded to, get drunk, honestly, and but I just stick to beer. I don't drink liquor. I don't drink a lot of wine. And went on to bed and woke up the next morning. Was the same. By the way, everybody was terrified and worried about me. I was getting phone calls, just not answering them from my family. Um, Everybody was worried. And this is what I figured out in like that night and into that morning. I was wanting love to come to me for a change. Maybe I felt like I was kind of looking and going toward love and having to obtain it myself. Um, but of course, in my marriage, that was falling apart, and had a ton to do with it, and it was probably a lot of it was subconscious. So then, so love is coming to me, right? People are showing me, hey, we love you, and we don't want you to be hurt, and I wasn't answering, and that everybody's worried and freaked out. I feel terrible about that. I wish I hadn't done it, but it happened, and I knew that I was going to go back home to Nashville and see everybody, but didn't know when. But then the next morning, I said, "This, there's enough of this," and welcome to the chat. Thank you, my first first one. And got in the car and started driving back to Nashville. Um, and I remember I was listening to a lot of the Superman soundtrack from 1978, one of my favorite films, and was driving back and listened to kind of sad music from John Williams there, like The Fortress of Solitude and Going Home, I think is one of the tunes. So it was kind of serendipitous in a way, the music and stuff I was listening to. Um, Once I got back to Nashville, I still didn't reach out to anybody. Um, I still just kind of stayed around, drove around that day and decided, well, I'll just eat here and go see a movie. And that night, I saw about to see a late movie. I walked into the movie The Joker was still out with Joaquin Phoenix, who won Best Actor. But I knew why I was going to see that movie. I knew that I am in such a horrible, dark place that I just want to go further to darkness. I know that sounds terrible, but that's where my head was wanting to go. And then I sat there for 5 minutes into the film, walked out. And then I got back in the car, drove around a little bit, parked, finally called my mom. Um, and then she talked to me. I was crying like a child, completely alone and sad, and finally reaching out for help. And I knew everything was going to be okay after that. And then my sister came to see me, and we talked a lot for a little bit. And then I stayed with her and her husband and kids. They've been praying for me the whole time. I was very grateful, and I realized what mental pain I'd caused my family and close friends. A lot of cousins were looking for me, all kinds of people. So, and they even put out a missing persons for me. So that next day, I had to speak to the police and prove that I am who I am, and I'm here, and I'm not missing anymore. So that's a little fucked up itself. So that'll just teach you, don't do that. Um, so that next day, this is now 2 days after I'd left. It was around December 3rd, I believe. And I didn't even call into work, by the way, that Monday, and didn't call any clients, didn't tell them I was canceling. I just didn't show up. Not a good thing, too. But they were understanding as well. I've known them a long time, very blessed. Um, Talked to my therapist, and then she said, I think you need to get on Lexapro. And so, okay, what's that like? She said, well, it's kind of like pulling the veil off of your eyes one day at a time, and you kind of see more and more light. You see more and more of the world the way you used to see it, the way you kind of used to be. And so, sure enough, that's where I got this is Lexapro. It is, how many milligrams is this? I think it's 20 milligrams. Yeah. So I got on that from my doctor right away. And that first day, I remember driving to work and I was listening to the sports radio local here, which I used to listen to quite a bit, still do. But I laughed at something out loud in the car. And I realized in that moment, I had not laughed out loud at anything in quite a long time. I hadn't found anything funny. I hadn't found the humor in anything. There it was. It was a great sign. And so from that moment, I said, I'm sticking to this for life. So, and I plan on doing that. I don't ever want to get off this. It's helped my brain become back to normal. So it helps. What the Lexapro ended up helping do was fire neurotransmitters that had not been firing in a while. Serotonin. So the first one, like I was saying, bupropion or Wellbutrin, that helps with dopamine. Okay. Lexapro helps with serotonin. Okay. And the vitamin D That, of course, is good for mental health. It's good for all kinds of things, your immune system, your skin, and everything. So that's, of course, very important. Uh, but what I want to get to is with mental health, it's so freaking hard because you can't see what is wrong. You break your arm, you break your leg, you get a cut or a scratch. You have to go to the doctor or the hospital right away to get fixed. This is a slow decline in health that you don't see it happening. It just starts to you just simply can't see anything that makes you happy. You can't see all you start to see is the darkness. Like I go to sleep, wake up and feel fine. I'm like, okay, today's going to be a better day. Like you almost think, okay, I got to muscle through this. Everything's going to be cool. The sun is out. I'm going to go to work, going to have a good day. But like it's like that's kind of a peak and then you slowly start to fall after lunch into the afternoon, especially when night comes, you're there all over again. And then that starts to one on top of the next, on top of the next. And it gets worse and worse. And that's where I just, I feel for these kids and I feel for anybody uh, not able to communicate that because it makes you want to shut down. And there's that kind of fine line. There's that problem where the darker our minds go to, the more we shut down and we probably say to ourselves, who's going to understand? Who's going to understand what I'm saying and what I'm talking about and what I'm feeling? And that is where we've got to get a little bit better. I mean, we're learning, especially in America, we're learning how to fight these diseases, these mental health diseases, and these identity crises and things like that. I mean, I don't want to get all into that, but mental health is a real problem, and we've got to get better at dealing with it. We've got to talk to somebody, talk to anybody that you love the very most. Look, here's something I've learned just from YouTube. That's why I love this platform so much. If you're able to communicate your problem and your friend says, "All right, I got you. I'm with you." If they're able to be in that pain with you, that's a friend. If they're not, if they say, "Wait, what's wrong with you?" That might not be a friend. You're going to learn who your friends are real quick when you start really exploring and telling people who you are, telling people what's really going on about the pain, because everybody's in pain, some kind of pain. It might be physical, it might be mental, but we got to talk about it more. And so that's probably, I don't know if I want to just stop there, but I do have things to do, of course. But so talk to your doctor if you have darkness in that mind. If you can't look at anything throughout your day, in your home, in your head, in your life, at your work, your family, your friends, you just can't feel or see any happiness or joy, call the doctor immediately. Call them up, get an appointment, tell them what's going on, and if they're a good doctor, they're going to talk to you objectionably. They're going to look at you maybe not as a friend. Sometimes they don't have great bedside manner, but that's not the point. The point is they're going to say, "Okay, I see what's going on. Let's start you with this," and maybe they'll recommend you to therapy first. Maybe they'll recommend you to drugs. But I'm not anti-drugs, but I'm a very holistic person by nature. I want to help people holistically with my training and see if I can help them. And if I can, I'm going to say, okay, you need to go to the doctor, man. Like your shoulder's not getting better, your knee's not getting better. We've done everything I can in my book to help with the pain, but usually I have to say, look, you're getting older and you need to go to the doctor. And sometimes they ignore my advice, but it's their choice. And that's the tough thing because what I think we all want to do is take these people. We'd love to get them in a room like, hey, we want to help you. Let's get you to the doc. Let's get you talking to somebody. and let's get you on the right path to BetterHelp. And now we've got BetterHelp.com. That's something I see all the time. I haven't used it, but I'm all for that. I'm all for easily available help. And COVID especially made a lot of things go down. Now, I got on these pills like right before COVID hit. We're talking December of 2019. And then March 13th, 2020, as far as the United States goes, shut down. But essentially, the world was shutting down week by week. And then we're all stuck at home. And a lot of on the news was mental health. And man, I was so thankful. Thank God I was on this, because who knows where my mind would have gone if I was not on Lexapro and bupropion. So that's about all I got. But wanted to sit down and share today. And this is my first ever live video. Thank you for. I see 2 people are here now. Cool. But hopefully more people will watch and like the video. Leave a comment. Um, Share your thoughts with me, or DM, like I said earlier, on Instagram, TJ_Milam_fitness, or visit my site, tjfitness.net. And love to hear from you about anything. So take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your bodies. Take care of your minds. Take care of your hearts. God bless. See you.